So here I go.
Chapter 6. Right, Left, Wrong. Before they knew it, Monday arrived. Zane and Yulia didn't get any free time because of all the work, which immediately showed Zane that senior school was much more difficult and advanced than junior school. This frustrated him a little. Even though he wasn't a student, he ended up assisting Yulia and working out with Nirav. His master wanted to go to a town, Eldon, a couple of hours away during the weekend, but Nirav assured her that they would go on a weekend when they weren't so busy. Once the bell rang, Mr. Keigo, Yulia and Nirav's home group teacher, entered the class. "Good morning, everyone!" All the students went quiet and paid attention to their teacher. "Now, I have a small announcement to make. We have a new student joining us today. Unfortunately, she arrived rather late, but she's here now. Better late than never. Belladonna, please come in." The door to the classroom opened, and everyone, including Zane, looked over to see a slender girl entering the room. She stood straight, her incredibly long black and scarlet streaked hair held up in pigtails by blood-red bows. She entered the room and appeared formal, yet had the complexion of an innocent child. She stood for a moment and peered around the classroom at her fellow students. Belladonna, was it? Her aura is not existent. Why can't I sense it? As the thought crossed Zane's mind, Belladonna turned her head and stared at him while he sat in the corner of the room. He was unsure of what to think. She was very unique and didn't appear to be a threat, but her lack of aura intrigued Zane. After a few seconds of staring at each other, Belladonna smiled at him, which shocked him more than anything else that occurred. She looked back at the class and walked over until she stood next to Mr. Keigo. "Please, introduce yourself to the class."
Well, hello everyone. My name is Belladonna. I'm so sorry for missing out on the first week. I live quite far away and had trouble getting here. I am very interested in learning about what I can do and what career I should aim for, so I hope to get along with all of you and we have a fantastic year together.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm sure we're all happy to hear that, Belladonna. Now, please take your seat by the window over there. He pointed over to a spare desk in the second row. Belladonna bowed, thanked Mr. Keigo, and took her seat. An innocent-looking student who so happened to have arrived late and has an aura that cannot be sensed. This doesn't seem right. Yulia looked over to Zane and noticed him eyeing down Belladonna, as she was a few rows ahead, and Yulia and Nirav sat next to each other. Yulia whispered,
Nirav, does she seem unique to you?
Yeah, I mean, pigtails? How often do you see that?
I think it's called a twin tail, but I guess that works too.
She realized they had gone off topic and decided not to press further. Yulia returned her attention to the teacher, but still felt uneasy about the situation. Something wasn't right here. Once home group ended, Zane was the first one to step outside the room into the hallway, where he waited for Belladonna. He stood against the wall with his arms crossed, keeping an eye on every student that exited. Thankfully, none of them paid any attention to him, and walked in the other direction. After a couple of seconds, Belladonna finally stepped out of the classroom, already speaking to two other girls. I need to find out what race she is, so I can determine if she is someone to keep an eye on or not. Excuse me, Belladonna. She and the other girls stopped and turned to face Zane.
Hello there.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Oh, well, I'm really sorry, but I have to be on my way. I got my first class. Another time, though.
Belladonna turned away to face the exit. She didn't seem to react at all to Zane's presence. She emanated confidence and fearlessness.
Hold on for a second.
Zane quickly dashed in front of them, blocking their path to the exit.
I promise not to take up much time. If you couldn't tell, I am a protector. I simply wish to find out what sort of person you are, so I can judge if you're safe.
Well, if you truly must know about me, my family lives in the Gale Kingdom. We learnt how sophisticated Benjiro Senior School is, and my admittance letter arrived late, hence why I'm only here now.
She's also from the Gale Kingdom, where Yulia's mother lives. Right. Well, I wasn't really interested in where you're from. I am more concerned about your race.
Zane? What are you doing?
Yulia interrupted by skipping over to Zane, passing Belladonna and her friends.
Why are you blocking the exit?
Belladonna smirked and bowed at Yulia's presence.
Yulia Edrea. It truly is an honor to be in the presence of a princess.
Silence struck the building as the term princess confused all those who heard it. Zane especially had no clue what Belladonna meant.
What are you on about?
Wait, you don't know? Huh. I thought you would have known everything about the one you look after, demon.
Belladonna! I am not a princess.
You mean no longer?
She retorted sarcastically. No response came from Yulia or Zane, so Belladonna asked,
Would you do me a favor? Your servant seems intent on not letting me leave for class. Would you be so kind and ask him to move?
Yulia clenched her fists. She glanced up at her servant and nodded, acknowledging Belladonna's request. Zane thought it would be wrong to defy her now, especially since she was clearly annoyed with the new student. Even though he didn't receive the answers he wanted, he stood aside, allowing access to the door. Belladonna quickly walked out with her company, not looking back or sharing another word with Zane or Yulia. Students continued to pour out the building. Some glanced awkwardly at Zane or Yulia as they passed. Once the building was nearly empty, Zane decided to question Yulia on what just occurred.
What did Belladonna mean when she called you a princess? Does she think you're royalty or something?
Yulia took a deep breath. She was uncomfortable for some reason and faced away from Zane. After a couple of seconds, she turned around with a smile and said,
I have no clue what she meant. She's probably just got me mixed up with someone else.
She's lying. Belladonna even referred to her as Yulia Edrea, her proper name. Clearly Belladonna knows something about Yulia, or she was using princess as some sort of offensive rich girl nickname. But it seems Yulia doesn't wish to speak about this further. I'll leave it be for now. I need to speak to Mr. Keigo about entering the tournament.